The arena was electric, filled with nervous energy. Every fan knew they were about to witness something extraordinary. On one side stood Gennady Golovkin, the Kazakh destroyer, a man feared for his granite fists and unshakable chin. On the other stood Curtis Stevens, the American warrior, a fighter who refused to bow to fear. As Golovkin made his walk to the ring, his expression was cold, almost unearthly calm. No smile, no nerves, just a predator ready to hunt. The Kazakh flag waved high, his people chanting his name with fire. In contrast, Stevens stormed in, fierce and defiant, eyes burning with determination. He didn't come to survive, he came to shock the world. When the referee called them to the center, the tension could be cut with a knife. Their eyes locked. Golovkin's stare was unblinking, like steel forged in fire. Stevens, refusing to be intimidated, fired back with his own glare, his jaw clenched tight. The crowd went silent, holding its breath. Could Stevens withstand the storm that had broken so many before him? Could Golovkin's legendary power be challenged by American heart and grit? The referee's voice echoed through the arena, but neither man heard. They were locked in their own world, a battlefield of wills before a single punch had been thrown. The bell rang. The storm began. From the very first second, Golovkin stalked forward like a hunter tracking prey. His jab was a hammer, stiff and punishing, breaking through Stevens' guard. But Stevens was no lamb for slaughter. He fired back with a vicious left hook that caught Golovkin flush. The crowd roared. For a heartbeat, the monster had been touched. But Golovkin didn't blink. Instead, he smiled, a cold, terrifying grin. The kind that told Stevens, "You just woke the beast." The fight exploded. Golovkin pressed forward, cutting the ring with surgical precision. Every step was calculated, every punch carrying menace. Stevens swung with fury, his punches crashing into Golovkin's gloves and arms, some sneaking through to land. The American crowd erupted, believing Stevens had found the answer. Then it happened. Golovkin unleashed a brutal 1-2, his right hand detonating on Stevens' face. The thud echoed like thunder. Stevens stumbled back, his legs trembling, his eyes blinking to stay focused. The crowd gasped. The nightmare had begun. The round ended, but the air in the arena had shifted. The fans weren't sure what they had just witnessed. Was Stevens still in the fight, or had Golovkin's power already sealed his fate? The middle rounds became a brutal tug-of-war. Stevens, battered but unbroken, refused to retreat. He dug deep, throwing every ounce of his heart into savage hooks and counters. His fists crashed against Golovkin's head and body, and for moments, the American crowd believed he could turn the tide. But Golovkin was relentless. His face, marked but unshaken, told the story of a man who thrived in chaos. Every punch Stevens landed only seemed to fuel the Kazakh's fire. Step by step, he cut off the ring, trapping Stevens like prey in a cage. Then came the fourth round's defining moment. Golovkin feinted low, drew Stevens in, and landed a crushing uppercut. The crowd erupted in shock. Stevens staggered, barely holding his balance. Golovkin followed with a brutal left hook, the sound cracking like a gunshot through the arena. The crowd screamed. The commentators shouted. Fans watching at home leaned closer to their screens. Could Stevens survive the storm, or would Golovkin break another man under his fists of iron? By the end of the round, Stevens' face was bruised, his chest heaving, yet his eyes told another story. He wasn't finished. Not yet. Round after round, the punishment grew. Golovkin's fists rained down with terrifying accuracy. Stevens' guard cracked again and again. His corner screamed for him to hold, to move, to survive. But the American warrior refused to back down. In the sixth, Stevens unleashed a desperate flurry, landing two sharp hooks that snapped Golovkin's head back. For a fleeting moment, hope returned. The crowd erupted in belief. Could this be the turning point? But Golovkin only stepped forward, unfazed. His eyes burned with cold intent. And then he delivered. A savage right hand rocked Stevens. His legs buckled. The arena froze in disbelief. The Kazakh destroyer smelled blood. Golovkin's combinations tore through Stevens' defense. Jab, right hand, left hook, uppercut. Each punch seemed heavier than the last. Stevens wobbled, trapped against the ropes. His heart screamed to keep fighting, but his body was failing him. The crowd was on edge. Every second felt like the end. Stevens' corner shouted desperately, begging him to survive. The bell rang. Somehow, someway, he had made it through. But everyone knew he was standing on the edge of a cliff. The seventh round began with silence. Everyone in the arena knew what was coming. Stevens rose from his stool, battered, bloodied, but still defiant. His eyes were glassy, yet his spirit refused to bow. Golovkin advanced slowly, his gloves tight, his movements calm. He jabbed. Stevens staggered. He hooked. Stevens leaned into the ropes. The crowd begged for him to hold, to clinch, to survive. But the end was inevitable. Then it came. Golovkin unleashed a monstrous left hook, followed by a thunderous right hand. Stevens' head snapped back violently. His knees bent. The referee jumped forward, eyes locked on the American warrior. But Golovkin wasn't finished. He poured on a devastating combination. Hooks, crosses, uppercuts, every punch crashing like lightning into Stevens' body and face. The crowd screamed in horror and awe. Finally, the referee stepped in, waving his arms. It was over. TKO. Gennady Golovkin roared in triumph, his fists raised high. The Kazakh destroyer had claimed another victim. The crowd erupted, half cheering, half in stunned silence. Curtis Stevens, though beaten, had shown the heart of a warrior. His courage would never be forgotten. But on that night, the ring belonged to one man. The monster, the machine, the king of middleweights. His name echoed through the arena. GGG, GGG.